It's time for some rock and roll. He's the founder of The Police and the drummer. He was voted into the 100 greatest drummers of all time by Rock and Roll Rolling Stones magazine. He won 5 Grammy Awards. He composed songs for over 60 movies, and I think I could extend this list like forever. We're gonna talk about success with him, and I'm really, really honored to have him here. Welcome, Stewart Copeland.
Well, thank you.
Glad to have you here.
Thank you.
You were the founder and the drummer of The Police. Like, back in the days, there was no social media thing, there was probably no internet. How did you manage to get famous?
With a spray can.
How can that happen?
The police on the wall.
So you sprayed it all over London?
All over London. And posters, you put them up yourself. But I realized with the posters that we'd put the posters up and we'd go back 2 hours later and they're covered up.
Oh, wow. It still worked? Or what was this?
Well, because they're professionals.
Yeah.
And you got to pay them and they'll do it for you. If you don't and you try and do it yourself, they'll just cover you up in a heartbeat. But the graffiti, like I was telling you, the last one finally got covered up, just a few years ago.
So, do you think that was the key to success for The Police?
No, it didn't work. The key to success was Sting writing a hit song.
Okay.
And the BBC playing it.
So I think the last show was, in 2008, right? Or when was the last show? Doesn't matter, like 10 years ago, roughly?
Roughly, yeah.
Do you miss the times, like being on tour?
Not really. It's exciting. It's like a Prada suit made out of barbed wire. It's really cool, but it's not comfortable.
Okay.
And we value the experience of playing that music, which is, whether it's good or bad, it has infected people's lives. Whether they were even listening or not, it's still there. The time that they got married or divorced, that music was playing. So it has an emotional impact. So when we go and play Message in a Bottle or Roxanne, the three of us, never mind what our taste, our career is, where we're going, what we intend to do as artists, that experience of playing Roxanne in front of 80,000 people, the emotional response to that, that's sort of what you play music for. Now, because we are alive, we want to make new music. We want to go to different places, and that's what we really want to do. But that experience of playing those songs is really big. That doesn't mean it's comfortable. And all three of us understand, when we were young, we were just, but now we understand that for each of us, music has a different purpose in our life.
What's your purpose? Like music?
To burn the house down. For me, music is a celebration. For Sting, it's an escape. It's a way where he can find serenity. For me, it's a way of destroying serenity. So as you can imagine, when the two of us get together to make some music, we're trying to do two completely different things. And since it's kind of important, we both take it very seriously, we're gonna clash. And when we're playing Roxanne and there's 80,000 people, okay, we both know what we're here for, and we do that. When we're in rehearsal, or if we were to try and make a new record, why are we even in the same room together? I love you, but I don't want to do what you want to do, and you don't want to do what I want to do. Why are we in a room together? The only reason we're in a stage together is because we have this body of music, which is important. And we feel that it's important. And we feel that we're not there for me playing what I'm there for those people, to give them that set of songs.
So
it's beautiful but uncomfortable.
But still, you were extremely successful. Like most musicians would dream to be in that position. Are there any dark sides of the success?
Yes. The thing that was unexpected was that the feeling of vertigo. And it turns out that there is such a thing as too much adoration. And adoration becomes obligation. And you start to feel those 80,000 people I was talking about, we're obligated to them.
Yeah.
And that obligation, that feeling that you have to be what, the avatar that they've created in their minds, you have a responsibility to be that. And you start to feel that you're up too high. The expectations are such that there's a long way down from here. And the sensation is like vertigo. And I remember at the height of success, when we should be ecstatic it doesn't get any better than this. This is what I've dreamed of my whole life. And yet, for some reason, I'm anxious. Why is that? Why am I anxious?
Yeah.
And it's that sensation of vertigo, that your social interactions are distorted. They're not normal. You grow up in high school with your friends and you learn how to interact with your friends, but now none of that works because people are looking at you like this and you think, fuck, don't look at me that way. Hey, hello, it's me. You know, and it's a little weird. And it sounds like I'm complaining. I'm not complaining.
Sure.
I'm just saying that it was interesting that it's, you know, there's a downside too. There's a weirdness factor.
How did you cope with it though?
Drugs. Just kidding. No, you don't. You learn to live with it. And by the way, most bands, that's why bands are so druggy, is because it's such a weird world. And the combination of empowerment, they can be hungover in the morning, whereas normal people have to be sober in the morning. The musicians, hey, so they can go further off into that. And also the world is such a hallucination that's why there's so much drugs involved with rock bands.
So success.
And then I grew up, I became a film composer, suburban dad, and I forgot all about that. And then I went to see, you know, a young band, hanging out with them, and they're backstage. It's all going on like they invented it. I'd forgotten about that whole world. I thought that everyone else had forgotten about it, but the young bands are still at it.
So, but success has like, or would you say that success has psychological like influences that like bring like depression and stuff to the music industry, like that you see like in the recent developments?
Sorry, I don't understand the
Like,
question.
is success responsible also for like, I think like some musicians have like depressions and stuff they get to hear like in the music industry. Is success responsible for that? Or can success be responsible for psychological issues?
Yes. You know, I know some musicians who are afraid of success. They don't even know it, but they fear success because it's not their own personal thing. I sort of understand it, but I know lots of musicians who sabotage themselves by writing something that's so out and it's guaranteed that nobody's going to like it. Therefore, I don't have to feel a sense of failure if nobody likes this because I've made it so obscure that it's not possible for any. So I'm cool.
And still some people are gonna love it, though.
Or not.
Or not. If you had started the Police today, with like all this social media and the internet and stuff, how would you do anything different from like back in the days?
Well, the first thing I would do, of course, would be to call a millennial. In fact, I am releasing a record today with a new band, or tomorrow.
Oh wow!
It's called Gizmodrome.
Okay.
And drops tomorrow. And a band with Adrian Belew and Mark King of Level 42. Another story. Not my plan. I'm supposed to be an orchestral composer. That's my day job, and I have a trajectory going just fine. But I have this hobby in Italy. I go there every summer just to play shows under the Italian sky, and recorded an album, and it's really making a noise. It's a real thing, and that wasn't my plan at all. It's kind of an accident. So yes, and how is it different than it was with the Police? It's easier in a way because the social media are very immediate. You get instant feedback. What are you doing right? What are you doing wrong? Who are you hitting? Why are you hitting them? You know what you're doing. In the olden times, you just throw stuff out there and hope it lands. Now you can watch every piece of it land and what effect it has, which is fascinating. Instant gratification. It's brilliant for that artist who only is going to sell 1,000 records. He's so obscure and he's really into his thing. In olden times, that guy would be alone, with no sense, no resonance of his work. He has no idea if anyone's listening or not, because he's not on Radio 1. He's not, you know, having a hit. So he's alone. Now that guy can see all 1,000, even if it's only 1,000, he can see them. He can communicate directly. He can get this feedback. He can get the empowerment of those few people. He can feel it now. It's a much better world.
Is it still like a challenge though to compete with all the millions of those
the
guys?
competition part, that
Yeah.
sucks.
Okay.
Well, it's good news for culture because any damn fool can do it, which means it's back to being campfire music. It used to be, in my time, it was specialization. I am the musician, you are the audience, I play the music, you have to just sit there and take it. That's not true nowadays because you've got a laptop, you can make a record too. And that's the way music is supposed to be, around the campfire of the hunter-gatherer society. It's not specialized, we all make the music together. And so it's the fact that with a laptop and modern technology, anybody, like Moby, he's not a guitarist, he's not a singer, he's not anything, but he's an artist with a concept and a laptop, and he can put it together and make a record that turns everybody on. Nowadays, you want to make a record, you can make one this afternoon.
So it's easier to get out there nowadays?
Oh, but the problem is, you're not the only guy with this brilliant idea. She's got one, she's got one, she's got one. Everybody in this room is also putting in an album. Every damn fool's making a record.
How do you stick out though? Like,
that is the same problem that it has always been, times a million.
Sure. Is there like a tip or like from your experience?
Well, just be different from everybody else.
But there's already so many out there. It feels like everyone like tries to be different. So
you start small and build it. I heard Cheryl Lansing yesterday talk, and she said 3 things: know your mission, and for an artist, for a musician, that would be know what's your sound, and that's your mission is to put that music out there. Build a community. That musician with only 1,000 followers, that's a community. That's his community or her community. She has to build that community with those people, establish a rapport with them so they're all into her. And the third thing is identify yourself. Who are you? What is, who are you? Okay, there's your art, but who are you? And those 3 points, I think, coming from her, put it pretty succinctly.
So that's 3 points, I think, from a business perspective.
Well, that also applies to an artist as well.
To an artist, but from your experience, do you have any like hand-on tips for managers, like from the music perspective?
Oh my God.
That can get them like started?
Watch out for the guitarist's girlfriend.
How's that? How can you explain it?
Guitarists are complicated enough, but their watch out for the guitarist's girlfriend because she rules the guitarist.
Okay, watch out for the guitarist's girlfriend's tips from...
Well, the other thing, guitarists, always keep the guitarist's amp pointed at his head so that he gets the full blessing of his volume. And the second thing is watch out for his girlfriend.
Okay, thank you very much, Stewart Copeland, the founder and drummer of Police and really successful musician. We're really glad to have you here, and thanks for your view on success.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. See you
All
soon.
right.